All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about something huge here, a revolution that isn't just knocking on the classroom door, it's about to rebuild the whole school from the ground up. I'm talking about artificial intelligence and how it could completely change the way we all learn, maybe forever.
Just think about that for a second. What if your education wasn't just some static curriculum you had to follow? What if it was a conversation, a system that actually gets you, your strengths, your weaknesses, how fast you like to go, and even how you prefer to learn? This isn't science fiction anymore. It's the very real promise of personalized education, and AI is what's making it happen.
So, to really get a handle on where we're going, we've got to look at where we are right now. For, well, centuries, education has pretty much been a one-size-fits-all deal, right? You've got one teacher, one lesson plan, and a classroom full of maybe 30 different kids who all think and learn in their own unique way. And, as you can probably guess, that approach has some pretty big problems.
I mean, it seems like such an obvious question, doesn't it? But it's one our traditional system has really struggled with. We just know that we're all different. Some of us need to see something to get it, others need to hear it explained, and some of us, well, we just need to get our hands on it and try it for ourselves. The problem is, the system just hasn't been built to handle that reality. At least, not until now.
And this brings us to a really classic way of thinking about these differences. It's called the VARK model. Basically, it breaks it down into 4 main styles. You've got visual, aural, that's listening, read/write, and kinesthetic, which is all about doing things hands-on. Now, you're probably a mix of these, but most of us lean one way more than the others. And here's the key takeaway. A standard classroom lecture, it really only works well for maybe 1 or 2 of these styles, tops.
Okay, so if the big problem is this rigid, one-size-fits-all system trying to teach a bunch of very different people, then what's the solution? Well, this is where AI steps onto the stage. It's offering a completely new approach called personalized learning. And personalized learning, it totally flips the script. Instead of you, the student, having to adapt to the classroom adapts to you. It's all about being student-centric. And AI, well, AI is the engine under the hood that makes it all possible. It's constantly analyzing how you're doing and tweaking the experience for you in real time.
And this really breaks down the difference, doesn't it? We're talking about a massive shift. We're moving away from everyone learning at the same speed to a pace that adapts to you. We're going from standardized cookie-cutter content to materials that are tailored specifically for your needs. It's a huge change, from that old one teacher to many students model to something that feels a lot more like a one-to-one mentorship.
And you know what? This isn't just some futuristic theory. This stuff is already happening. AI is in classrooms right now. So let's take a look at a few real-world examples of how it's changing the game.
First up, you've got these things called intelligent tutoring systems. Just think of it like having your own personal tutor powered by AI that's on call 24/7. It can figure out exactly where you're getting stuck on, say, a tricky math problem or a line of code, and give you instant, specific feedback to help you get past it.
Then you've got adaptive content delivery. And this is where things get really, really smart. Let's say you're just flying through a topic. The AI sees that and serves up more challenging stuff to keep you engaged. But what if you're struggling? It can dial it back, give you some foundational basics, or, and this is key, it can present the information in a totally different way. Maybe a video if you're a visual learner, or a quick text summary if you're more of a reader.
Okay, and this is where it starts to feel like we're living in the future. AI is also powering these incredible virtual and augmented reality experiences. I mean, imagine literally walking through the streets of ancient Rome, or dissecting a virtual frog without the mess, or grabbing and spinning molecules in 3D space, all right from your desk. For anyone who's a hands-on or visual learner, this is an absolute game changer.
And last but not least, there's a huge benefit here that we don't always talk about. AI is an incredible assistant for teachers. Think about all the time-consuming stuff, grading, scheduling, all that routine paperwork. AI can automate it, and that frees up teachers to do what they're actually there for, to teach, to inspire, to mentor, and to really connect with their students.
Okay, but let's be real, it's not all sunshine and roses. Of course it isn't. Just like with any powerful technology, all this incredible promise comes with some pretty serious risks. We can't just plug AI into our schools and expect everything to be perfect. There are some really complex challenges and big, tough questions we have to face first. And don't get me wrong, the potential is absolutely massive. There's this one study that puts the optimistic view perfectly. It talks about how the synergy between AI and education can help us meet individual needs, boost engagement, and get better learning outcomes for everyone. It sounds amazing, right? But to actually get to that amazing future, we have to carefully navigate the dangers.
So, what are these big red flags we're talking about? Well, first off, data privacy. These systems are collecting a ton of data about how students learn. So, who owns that data? How is it being used? How is it being protected? That's a huge one. Then, there's algorithmic bias. What if the AI is trained on biased or incomplete data? It could end up just making old inequalities even worse. And finally, the digital divide. What happens if only the wealthiest schools can afford these incredible new tools? Does that just widen the gap? And all of those concerns really bring us to the single biggest question in this whole discussion. It's the ultimate question, really. Is this technology going to make education fairer and more accessible for everybody? Or could it actually make the inequalities we already have even bigger?
Take a look at this data from a study back in 2021. More than half, almost 53% of the students they surveyed said they were visual learners. That right there shows you just how important it is to have different ways of teaching, because that traditional lecture-style classroom, it's already failing to connect with the majority of students from the get-go.
But here's a fascinating twist. That same study, it found that 2/3 of students actually preferred low-tech, printed-out modules. How about that? In this age of amazing high-tech solutions, most students wanted a simple paper packet. Now, why is that? It could be about the digital divide, not having a good device or reliable internet. Or maybe it's just that students need a break from staring at a screen all day. It's such a critical reminder that the best solution isn't always the flashiest one. It's whatever actually works best for the person learning.
So if we do this right, if we're really thoughtful about it, AI could be an incredible force for good, for sure. It could level the playing field by letting every student learn at their own speed. It could make learning more accessible for students with disabilities, with tools like text-to-speech. It could even help us build and share content that's more inclusive and culturally diverse, and maybe, just maybe, start to close some of those stubborn achievement gaps.
And that, really, is where we stand today. We have this incredible technology that could, potentially, deliver a truly personalized education to every single student in the planet. But at the same time, it carries this massive risk of making the divides we already have even deeper, creating brand new kinds of inequality. The future of education really hangs on how we answer this one question. Is AI going to be the tool that finally levels the playing field for everyone, or is it just going to rewrite the rules of the same old, unequal game? It's a huge question, and the choice is really up to us.